Hi everybody, this is Michael,
This is Carolyn.
and it's the Penguin Coffee Clutch.
Welcome back.
Yes, it's been a while,
Yes. What, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that?
something like
We
that.
took the month of August off.
Pretty much.
I guess that makes us French or British, one of the two.
I've always heard Swiss or Swedish or something.
I'm going with it. That sounds good.
Some sort of European country.
Yes, the entire month.
Mhm.
And I was gone for, what, a week and a half of that?
Yes.
Yes. And then it was really hot here.
Mhm.
I mean, it was just very uncomfortable to get around. And when we say hot, for those of you who aren't in the New York City, Westchester area, it was kissing 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So some days 98, depending on where you were in the region. I don't think it actually got to 100, but the feels like temperature, and I have no idea what that schedule is like. The feels like temperature was over 100, and I believe one day it was like 112, but I know the actual temperature on the gauge was like about 98. And it was just, honestly, it was difficult to think about knitting.
Yeah, it was bad. Uh, I had trouble standing it. So
It was really hard.
cats didn't like it either.
No, I would imagine not. We were on the boat one night, well, a couple nights when it was hot, 2 different trips. And it wasn't until we got home that I realized what we could have done, which is we had fans in the boat, and I could have gotten block ice and set it up so that the fans were blowing over the block ice, and that would have cooled the interior of the boat to some extent. I mean, it's just really hard when it's that warm, and there really was almost no breeze. It was great while we were sailing. In fact, it was lovely, and if I could have figured out some way to have a gyroscope keep us, out of the channels, but in breeze, kind of in the middle of Long Island Sound, it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to come into a harbor at night, and that's where you realize how hot it was. So we have passed through, I think, the worst of it, and as we head into September, which is tomorrow, they're saying by Friday that it's supposed to be cooler.
I hope so.
I spoke to my mom Monday, and they're down in South Jersey, so mile 13 on the Garden State, and we're going down for Labor Day. And apparently she was telling me that there's some storm coming up the coast, so it's breezier. So it should be nice. It should be a good weekend.
Yeah.
Which will be very nice considering it has been very, very warm for the past month. But we're back.
Yes, we are back.
We are back.
Happy to be here.
I'm very happy to be here. Yes. Yeah. So my school has started. So Manhattan College is back in session, and this is my second day of classes, and they're going pretty well. Of course, I've lost one notebook, so now I have to tear the house apart to find out what did I do with my notebook.
That's always fun.
It's always great. It doesn't matter how much I think I planned. There's always something that a normal person would have thought about before school starts and would have gotten everything nailed down. And I usually go, oh, thought I was doing such a good job. So this morning I went looking for one of my notebooks that I thought was going to be right there, wasn't right there, so I had to quickly scribble notes for today's class.
Oh, that's fun.
I managed to get it done, and the classes were fine. So it just would be nice to have it because I have things penciled in, in the margins and all over the place. So I'll be ripping the house apart.
Well, I mean, I understand that. We just changed up some storage solutions in the yarn closet and this other closet.
Oh my goodness.
So
Are things lost now?
Well, I wouldn't open the hallway closet right now.
Okay.
I don't think anything's lost. The yarn closet actually went surprisingly smoothly.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we found these 3 shelf units at Home Depot for like $18.
My goodness.
And it was good. We also bought a large piece of particle board for the couch because the couch is falling apart. So now the particle board is,
Underneath.
yeah,
So, like you put on a bed to make it firm.
yeah.
Nice.
So the couch is much more comfortable now.
Oh, good.
And the particle board wasn't very expensive either. And for some reason, we found one just the right size.
It was meant to be.
Yeah,
That's
So-
wonderful.
yeah. So
Excellent. What are you working on?
I'm working on a secret project.
A secret project. I like the color.
Yes.
Are you allowed to show the color?
I don't know.
Oh, well, then we'll wait until you find out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, someone's calling me.
Probably the producer.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, it looks like a wrong number.
You sure?
It's a 614 number, so
I have no idea who that might be.
that would be Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, really?
Yes, but my phone, you see, is a Columbus, Ohio phone,
So someone could just be misdialing a local number.
pretty much.
Um,
Because my area code is a Columbus, Ohio area code on my phone. It's just kind of odd, but I've had this number for a long time, over a decade, I think.
it makes no sense to give it up.
Yeah. So,
Ah,
and now,
okay.
and now long distance calls are free, pretty much. So,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
it doesn't matter what area code you have. You have to type it in anyways.
That's right.
So,
That's right. So, I talked about sailing, and one of the things that I had partially made before we left on the sailing cruise is this headscarf, and I'm telling you, it's just a triangular scarf that has lacy details on the edge.
oh yeah, those are nice.
It's made of cotton and silk,
Mhm.
because my hair has decided this year it wants to curl.
Yeah, my hair's not cooperating much either,
And
as you can see.
And as the humidity got worse and worse, it just kept balling up further and further. So this, by putting this on, it helped keep everything pretty much under control. I could either tie it in front if the wind was bad, or tie it in back, and it really was quite good for the sailing. So that I'm really quite pleased with that.
That's
I may
good.
make 2 or 3 more just to have them, but it worked out really well.
Where'd you find the pattern?
I found it at Ravelry.
Okay, what's the pattern?
Oh,
You don't know?
I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
But it's in my project page. I know that. So this was in my project page.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I think it was a Tin Can Knits. I'm pretty sure it was the Tin Can Knits pattern. So I'm betting it wasn't a free pattern.
It looks kind of like a Tin Can Knits pattern.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Tin Can Knits pattern. I just don't know whether it was one of their free patterns or whether it was $3 or something like that. But it was pretty much what I wanted. I wanted something that was only a little bit decorated rather than the whole thing. And the others that I saw were either for, I had the yarn already. So I was looking for something that was in a light fingering or heavy lace type
You know,
of weight.
Yeah.
So it fit.
You know, I designed a couple headscarves. I never published them. They were gifts for people. You can see them on my project page, but they are lace all over. One of them I'm particularly proud of because it has a lot of Zelda references in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, made out of lace, and it's kind of crazy. So, and the whole thing is blocked out like a scale. And in Zelda, there are these creatures called Zoro, which are like fish people,
Okay.
and they have this. There's a symbol that represents them. So I made the lace in that symbol, and then I put a Triforce on there, and I made the whole thing like a scale. So it was like a Zora headscarf.
How cool.
So that was fun.
Well, maybe in February you could lend me the pattern.
You
don't have the pattern, you just knitted it.
I don't remember where the pattern is.
Okay.
It's probably somewhere.
Okay. Well, if you come upon it, I'd love to try it out.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Because I can see that if my hair does the same thing with humidity next year as it did this year, I'm going to need a lot of these things.
It's not quite suited for that, so I don't know if that'll work.
Well, you said it was a headscarf.
Yes, it is a headscarf.
I have lace.
And you can it's was made out of bamboo. You could add I-cords to the ends of it pretty easily.
Okay.
So I guess it could work.
It might work.
And it does have a sea theme. Now that I think about it,
It sounded like a sea theme.
Because I mean, there's also a lot of lace in there that's basically fish scale and fish tail lace. So the whole thing
What more
is,
could I want?
yeah. So I'll try to dig up the
If
pattern
you find
somewhere.
it when you're cleaning up and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's in my old notebook. So I just
Well,
have
you write everything down, so I'm sure it's someplace.
Yeah, so I just have to find that.
Okay, sounds good. So I did finish this, and I like the fact that I was able to use it immediately. The other thing I believe I was showed people before we left was this bag that I was working on.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
yeah.
it essentially,
I love that bag. That's insane.
it is insane. It's exactly the word. It is insane.
Yeah.
Because it's like double knitted. Because every other stitch was knit, and you bring the yarn forward over the next stitch. So each row is done twice.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of like double knitting.
It kind of is like double knitting, but by bringing that yarn over, you're catching the one layer with the other continually.
Yeah.
And this is made out of linen. It's Rowan linen. And then the instructions said to back the handles, and I backed them in a heavy denim so that they should stand up pretty well. The pattern for the handles is a cable.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of this is a linen stitch. And the reason and how you get this is actually the checkerboard, which I would have thought was one row one color and then the next row the next color. No, it's 2 rows of one color and 2 rows of the next color give you the checkerboard, because
that's weird.
It is weird, but I think it's because you knit every other stitch, and so
yeah, that makes sense then.
It then makes the checkerboard.
Okay.
So, and then I lined it, and I lined it with a mermaid print. There's the mermaid.
Yes, it's a very lovely mermaid. Kristen would be jealous.
So, I don't think I'll ever make one again. Mainly because
I don't blame you.
It's not necessarily the time that it took. It was good for knitting on the boat because it was like mindless knitting. So that part was excellent. But the reason I wouldn't do it again was because there was a lot of strain on my hands, because the linen by design does not stretch. And you don't want a bag to stretch, at least not much. You want it to be sturdy. So linen, I think, is a good fabric for that, or a good yarn for that. But because it doesn't stretch, it's cumbersome in trying to do the knitting. It just was a little bit. I like it when it has a give to it.
Yeah.
So I was using wooden needles to give me some give. But I cannot wait to go back to like knitting with wool or alpaca or cashmere or something that has a little give.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the other thing I'm working on is that godforsaken lace shawl.
Yes.
Yes, which does have plenty of give, but the problem with it is that the pattern I find almost impossible to read, except when you hold it up.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a seraglio.
It's showing up well on screen.
I mean, it's beautiful. Yes, it's showing up well on screen, but when you've got it in your lap and you're trying to knit this...
Yeah, it's hard to see the yarn overs.
It's really hard to see the pattern, and I'm very used to being able to read my knitting,
Right.
I feel like I'm an illiterate
Yeah, I understand.
with this. I'm going to love it. I'm going to absolutely love it. And it's going to be strenuously blocked. So
Yes.
this thing will probably end up being as tall as I am. The wedding that I'm wearing it to is September 25th. And some of you may be thinking that I'll be taking something away from the bride, but the bride is making her own in green. So I'm not even sure what the bride is wearing. I'm not sure whether she's wearing white or green or what.
Yeah.
So the bride has approved my shawl. So I feel at that point I'm okay. If she's thought it was okay, then I'm okay. As to when I'll actually get the applied border on, I don't know. Maybe I'll attempt it in December when I'm finished my holiday knitting and stuff like that. I'll just start working on it. And certainly I can wear this before I work on the applied border. And what I figure I'll do is the applied border is actually knitted separately and then sewn on. Because what you do is, all right, this is my side of my shawl. Here it's 1-to-1 as you're going through the middle of the side. And then you start going 2-to-1. So two rows of the edging to one of your center. And then you start going up here towards like 3-to-1, and up here it goes like 4-to-1. And that gives you the ease to turn the corner, so there's no mitered corner in this border. It's just kind of a eased ruffle type of thing. And then you turn the corner here, and then you go 4-to-1, 3-to-1, 2-to-1, 1-to-1, and you repeat it. So you need the whole thing made,
Right.
and then you sew it on.
Yeah.
So again, something that I'm really happy with, but I will never ever make again.
I understand. I don't think I'll ever make my Vogue knitting pieces again.
Right, and that was a stunning piece.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah, any of them. So.
It's just, you're glad you did it, but it takes a lot out of you to do it.
Yeah, it's a huge investment.
Yes.
Yes. It's a good topic to discuss at some point.
Yes. It's a huge investment in time and in tenacity and focus. And I know there's mistakes in here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know there are, but no one will ever see them.
Yeah,
because it's so intricate.
Yeah.
And I'll wear it with pride anyway. I have 6 more balls of this yarn, and I think I'm going to hold it double and make something else with it rather than another shawl. Nancy Bush, God bless you. Your focus on Estonian lace. Oh my goodness. I can't imagine doing it over and over again in Estonian wool because it is, I can't get my ring off, but I do think it would go through my ring. So I think this really is one of those wedding ring shawls. Maybe next time I'll get my ring off in advance of the podcast.
I can get my ring off.
Well, I think it will go all the way through.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So it's still on the needle, otherwise I think it will. So
yeah.
This yarn is then of the weight that you would make those wedding ring shawls out of, but I'm never going to make another one. But it as it sits in my lap, I think it's wool, so I think it could be warm if you wanted it to be warm if you fold it over, because when this thing is blocked, it's going to grow.
Oh yeah.
So I could fold it over. I could do all kinds of stuff. So.
And you have to wonder how much it's going to bloom when you soak it too.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I really have no idea. So I have 27 more rows to go. So I figure I'll finish it tonight, and then I'm going to put it gently aside for a couple days. We're traveling down to my mom and dad's house in South Jersey. One of the things I found out is this is horrendous to bring traveling. That's, don't do it. You can't knit in the car on it. If I drop a stitch, it's gone forever. I really couldn't find it, except when I got to this part of the border, which is plain stockinette stitch. That I could see, but the rest of this, it was anybody's guess as to what was happening. So I'll finish it tonight and then put it aside, and then when I get back from the weekend, I will then block it like mad and be at least temporarily done with it. It will be such a relief. I cannot wait to go back to some regular knitting. And even cables would be plain knitting to me because they'd be with woolish type yarn.
Yeah.
And with needles that are, that I'm not having to hold. This I have to hold so loosely to give it the airiness. I'm constantly, I'm working at the knitting. So I'm glad I did it, and I'll just never do it again. So that's mainly it. I mean, I still have my featherweight shawl, so I think I'll take my featherweight shawl with me over the weekend because that's like stupid knitting. And I want to get it done. I mean, I could wear it all the time. So I have that, and then I have a pair of socks on the needles that I think I had talked about before. There's somewhere in this bag. But obviously we're not going to be able to dig them out. Oh well, they made an appearance before. Here they are.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember.
Yes. So I've worked a little bit on them when I got truly disgusted with everything else. So they're probably a stripe and a half longer than they were. And they'll just have afterthought heels on them. So I'll take that. Take that and my featherweight with me, and that'll be all that I take. But my mom said there was going to be possibly this storm, and my mom wants everybody to have a good time when they're visiting. And so she's gone off on a tangent on how one cannot control the weather. And so I said, well, I'll just bring yarn. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, Mom. I'll just bring yarn. So I may bring something else just in case. Because if it's really stormy, I can get a lot done. So that's about it. I mean, it looks like not a whole lot, but I actually made quite a bit of progress on the shawl. So.
Yeah, that's the problem when you're working on large projects, which I often am. Is
yes, you often am.
is you make progress on them, but that's all you have to show for anything. It's just not like you pull out a bunch of socks and show those off or anything
or even
like that.
A sweater. I mean, a sweater that was, if I had been working the same amount of time on the featherweight, I'd have 6 of them. So it will just be fun to get back to doing that kind of thing. For those of you who don't know, the Harry Potter term is starting tomorrow, and I'll be proposing a large project, and what I'll be proposing is basically a robe. The pattern calls it a dressing gown, and I've wanted one like this for a while, and it's good basic knitting. It's a Rowan yarn, and it's going to be, I think it's size 6 needles. I'm so excited. It's like, whoa, I'm going to have stockinette stitch. Whoa. So I have that, and then I have a sweater picked out for the other yarn that I had hand dyed. So I had made the one sweater out of hand dyed wool.
It always surprises you.
Yes, it does. And then this will be the other one out of the hand dyed yarn. So I really can't wait to get back to that kind of stuff. It's amazing how when you go off on a tangent like I did, that you can't wait to get back to good regular knitting.
I'm not like that. So.
What, you like to go off on tangents and follow them?
Pretty much.
Ah.
Yeah, there's no regular knitting for me. I finished.
Because of the double knitting, or because of the love of cables, or what?
I think I can't stand straight stockinette.
I'm not even talking about straight stockinette. I'm
Yeah.
talking about even cables. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have cables. There's some kind of fan pattern in this.
Mm.
It's not straight stock, but it's like with regular wool. It's like with a wool that doesn't just kind of waft away on itself. It's like when you're holding that ball of wool, you can feel you're holding a ball of wool. I mean, that's what I mean by regular knitting, or something like I might be able to read the pattern.
Yeah.
That to me is it's comfort knitting. It doesn't have to be straight. It just has to be where I can see what I'm doing. Oh well.
I understand.
Yes.
So yeah, I've been working on some things. I do have a finished object.
Can you show it to us?
Yes.
I love this, folks. I love the color combination. I think, and it's your pattern.
Yes. So it's a scarf.
It's gorgeous.
It's a little skinny, but it's whatever.
And what's the fiber that it's made out of? 100% wool, or?
It's merino and probably nylon, I think.
It feels like has a body to it.
Yeah. And here's the other side.
Okay, so we can show the other side.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the yarn is out.
Ah.
Pattern isn't out yet, but the yarn is out. So
whose yarn is it?
this is Nergirl yarn.
Oh, is it?
Yes, and this color is Pandorica, which is just on sale. And then this color is Blue Box Exploding.
They're both gorgeous.
Which is funny, is because both colors are from the same episode of Doctor Who. And here's a close-up of the edging.
Really pretty.
The main lace pattern.
Do you think if I hold it up against my dress, it might show up?
Maybe.
Okay.
The other side will definitely show up, because the pattern's much clearer on that side.
Well, it is gorgeous.
Mm.
And this is the one that we had said would be pretty in a tie pattern.
Yes, it would make a very good tie pattern, and I will probably do it as a tie pattern for that reason.
Because as you said, you're somewhat frustrated by the sparsity in number of patterns for men.
Yes, and that's a real problem.
Why do you think that is? Do you think that people are just not have enough imagination when it comes to men's sweaters?
I just don't think that there's money in it. I mean, or at least that's how designers perceive it. Is I don't think they either want to knit something for themselves, and that turns into a design, or they don't see that there's money in it.
Interesting.
So that's what I think is going on.
And yet, many of us knit for the men in our lives.
Yeah. But men's sweaters tend to be basic.
Crew neck and. Okay.
Which, on that note, I am designing a sweater.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
Or a men's sweater. Well, unisex, but men. It's like this broken rib thingy, and there's going to be these cool cable panels up the sides.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it'll go into the arms. It's going to have some shaping.
Nice.
You know, probably a crew neck, but you know, still it's cut above your average men's sweater.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'll go well.
You know, Tin Can Knits often makes patterns or has sweaters that can go from infant or toddler all the way up to adult.
I don't think I'll be doing that.
No, but I'm thinking, would it make sense at some point to think about making patterns that could be a sweater pattern for a woman, and then have the directions for a men's sweater pattern using some of the same design elements.
Pretty much, because a lot of women's sweaters, if modified for men's proportions, would look good on men. You know, so I
Oh,
don't,
good. Something else we can do if we live to 150.
yeah, I don't see how it would be a problem to just modify them.
I think that would make sense.
Mm. So,
I'll add that to my list.
should write a book on it.
Yes. We'll add that to the list too. Yeah, why not? I mean, that way people could look and say, well, I really like the way that kind of goes, whether it's cables or, yarn overs or the kind of open work and then the closing of, I think it could be fascinating. What have you got in your lap there?
Something else I've been working on is this scarf. It's old hat, but I've made a lot of progress on it. So,
Oh my goodness, it's gotten quite long.
let's see.
And was there something that was
Here.
particularly, um, was your basis for this design?
Well,
what was your inspiration?
Well, I wanted to do a cable like this, where you have this one cable here on top of this other cable panel here, and then on the other side is a completely different pattern. And basically, I just wanted to make a complicated cable, and when it comes to designing for me, or at least cables, it's kind of like painting. So this one I started from the center, and I started from the few center stitches, and I designed the middle cable first, and I started designing around it, going from the center out, and that's just kind of, I just used some of my cable making knowledge to do it, because when it comes to cable making, there are certain rules you follow, and there are certain rules you can break. And I just did a little bit of that. So I mean, this pattern is really interesting, because the center cable, um, when you cross a cable on one side, let's say a frontward cross, so like this one here. Then on the other side of it is a backward cross.
Right.
Okay, so it's kind of symmetrical like that.
Right.
But on this side, or this blue cable here as well, when you cross something on the front, every cable in that row is crossed on the front. And so there are different cabling techniques, and there are some subtleties in here that are quite hard to explain.
And was that hard to do because it was double knit?
I did not find it that difficult to design. Like I said, I applied cables, started from the center out, and just kind of made it up as I went along. It's not too difficult for me to do. Like I said, it's like painting. I could take any number of strands and turn it into a cable, no problem. Just follow rules, break rules, change things up. It's interesting. It's fun. It's really hard to explain.
Well, they're fun to knit.
Yeah.
And they give such interest to what you're making. Really, you can design them so they're drawing to an eye to a particular part of the garment or whatever you're making, and then or draw the eye away. It can be quite a visual trick.
Yeah.
That you're playing on the observer of the garment.
Well, I've never thought of cables in that way. I've just thought of cables as pure cables, I guess.
Well, if you think about it, you could start cables that are kind of very much together here, and then they kind of disperse.
Yeah.
So that the eye would be following them. Possible.
Yeah, I could see that.
What else?
Well, I've been working on knitting the card game. So this is it here. It's very much a prototype right now. Very much not
For
professional,
publication.
not professional, but it's a working game that people seem to enjoy.
Good.
So you know, I'm pretty pleased with it at this point.
Good.
And I've started on the next step, uh,
Which is what?
which is the artwork.
Ah.
So I have a few things here.
Oh, they're cute.
So this is my practice sheet. Um, this is the beginning of Sick Spouse. Um, and then here is Dropped Stitches, Inspiration, and Coffee.
Very cute.
So for these, I just need to color them. And I have, several more cards that I need to actually draw out.
Right.
And so, yeah, I've been using these fun pencils for them. And I bought some colored pencils a couple days ago, and I'm going to use that for the coloring.
Oh, good.
So once the art's done, I can probably get a true prototype made and see how it goes from there.
Cool.
Because I think the next step would be Kickstarter.
Yes.
So
Sounds good.
yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So that's all I've really been doing knitting wise. I was on vacation last week. My wife was as well.
Cool.
I of course got sick during it. It's
Unfortunate.
as I do. It's
The excitement of vacation is just too much.
I don't know. I mean, your body just kind of relaxes, and once your body relaxes, your immune system relaxes, and all of a sudden you're sick. So that happens. It's a common occurrence on vacations.
My husband tends to do that too, but the night before we go someplace.
Mm.
So he's fine. Then he's going to be on vacation and tends to fall apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think it just goes with the tallness?
No, I don't think so. I think it's
okay. Because both of you are tall.
yeah.
I thought perhaps it takes more energy to keep a tall person healthy. So at the thought of vacation, as the body relaxes, it's like.
Well, I have a pretty good immune system, so I don't think tallness is a factor.
Okay. I've had that idea for years, Russ. Okay. Did we want to talk about the fact that we have a skein of yarn that you're going to dye?
Yes. So, as you know, we did this Knit Miss in July thing, and then we went on vacation during August. So,
yes. Didn't get to talk about it a lot.
Yeah. But we didn't have a lot of participation, unfortunately. I really enjoyed doing it, and I really enjoy that Amber of Yarn Junkie co-hosted with us. I think but I think our lack of participation was due to it being in the summer.
I think a lot of other people were on vacation.
Yeah, so I mean, it made it difficult, but we do have this skein of yarn here, which is quite lovely, and I'm going to dye it up, and we're gonna select a winner and give it to that person. Probably off screen, just
yes.
make it simple. And then everyone else who participated is going to get a free. Well, everyone who participated is going to get a free pattern from me. So I think that's a fair way to do things.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So.
And I think we're going to wait a couple weeks before we start something else.
Yeah, we're gonna wait a bit. I need to talk to some people. There's there are people that are currently moving
Moving is so difficult.
that I want to do some sort of something with. So I don't know if we're going to do anything until that person is moved or
Okay.
what. So it's
It's in flux.
yes, it's in flux.
Okay.
So we'll see.
But we have a couple ideas.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I wanted to bring up the topic of the format of this podcast.
Yes, sir.
Um, because I'm thinking we should start making it more topical.
Okay.
So in other words, topics like difficult projects and what they do to you, or stockinette stitch, or socks from toe up or cuff down, advantages, disadvantages.
Okay.
Various topics like that. Maybe some more controversial ones like what designers should charge and what the culture of free patterns has done to the design world, things like that.
That would be interesting to investigate because I have no idea what it's done.
Yeah.
What I know what's happened with books and free books, it has exploded the number of people that are buying books. So if you offer your book totally for free, some people will buy it at the free point, but other people will then continue to buy it when it's off the free sale. So it actually has increased the number of readers.
Yeah, I don't know how it has affected knitting personally. So I mean, it's something that would have to take research. So I'm going to come up with a list of topics, and hopefully every week we will have a different topic to discuss, and that'll be a very cool thing to put into our podcast.
I think it'd be great.
So,
absolutely. You're going to let us know in advance what we're going to be talking about, or will it be a surprise?
Probably is. Well, I might post something on the group. I've neglected the group lately, so I have a lot of catching up to do. So
Okay.
I might post a list of topics, what's coming up in the group, or I might not. It might just be a surprise.
What a surprise! The other thing I remember that I've been talking about is, there's this elf that lives in the washer or the dryer that takes socks.
Yes.
Yes. Well, in our house, we also have one that takes gloves.
Okay.
Gloves and mittens.
Yeah. Sounds right.
Apparently, ours likes things that cover the extremities because socks do disappear unless I put a clip on them to have them both go through at the same time. And I've started looking at where are my gloves for the fall and winter, and I'm finding I don't have a single pair.
Okay.
I have odd things. I don't have a pair.
You should knit some gloves and hand wash them.
Yes. So but they're not disappearing in the washer and dryer. They're disappearing in the closet.
Oh, that's no good.
They're just disappearing.
Yeah.
So I really do need to make probably 2 pairs of either mittens or gloves, or a pair of mittens and then a pair of gloves, because I'm desperate.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just bizarre. So I'll keep you posted. I may be casting on a pair of mittens or gloves over the weekend.
Acrylic gloves are cheap if you're ever in doubt.
Okay, I actually am like drowning in yarn. So
well, not yarn. You can just go out and buy it.
The inexpensive mittens. Yes, I could do that too. Yes.
I can't promise that they're great gloves.
How about warm? Are they warm?
They're pretty warm.
Okay.
Not as warm as wool.
Really?
Not that I've found.
Huh. Okay. Well, maybe I could feed the elf that takes the gloves the acrylic mittens. Just here. You want some? Take some. But yes, we have. I have no idea. None. So anyway, I will buy some and I will make some and we'll see.
Yeah.
I could also put mine on one of those strings that go through my coat.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
You could make a scarf with attached mittens.
That's an idea. Or with those little clips, those like little alligator clips or something, where
Yeah.
you clip them to your um, coat cuff,
Yeah.
something like that. I
Yeah.
need something because it's amazing how many gloves that I only have one of.
Yeah. I made some. One of my first projects was a pair of fingerless mitts, and I at some point lost one of them, and I'm very upset.
And
So,
we have both arms. I mean, it's not like,
yeah.
oh, I put it down and
For,
I didn't need it.
Fortunately, I still have the overpaws, which sound like a weird thing, but they're basically mittens without thumbs that slip over clubs.
Oh, nice. So you're nice and warm.
Yeah.
Excellent for shoveling snow.
They work. It would be nice if they had a thumb for shoveling snow.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yes,
but
the
but but
opposable
but,
thumb thing.
but even without that, I mean they're extremely warm.
Good.
So
Well, I have none of that. So anyway, I will be doing something in addition to buying the inexpensive gloves because I could spend a fortune because they just go. So what else
um,
besides your secret project?
yeah, there's my secret project. Honestly, I think that's all I've been working on.
All right.
Because like I said, I tend to work on big, complicated projects, and so I don't tend to have a lot of finished objects because of it.
Right.
So,
Well, I'm going to.
oh, I do. I already talked about the sweater, didn't I? Okay.
What?
I
Yes.
said I would have.
Yes,
Going
you
to
did.
say I would have plans for that, but
Well,
I
I'm
already
going to finish
mentioned
the socks. I think the socks will take almost no time to finish because they're basically tube socks, and then I put in the afterthought heel. And I've been pretty happy with the fit
it.
because I have the high arch, high instep, and I have the featherweight, so that can finish, and then I can probably start the dressing gown, and then somewhere there start rather than start another pair of socks, make a pair of mittens or something like that. So those are my plans. And then I have to find my notebook for school.
All good plans, yes.
Yes, they're all good plans. That's about all I know.
Yeah. So I guess I also need to get back in contact with people. It's been a while since I've contacted anyone. I need to keep those relationships going.
Well, I think that summer is just one of those times where we just kind of let a lot of things relax.
Yeah, yeah. And I do have one more plan, which is basically confessing something. But a lot of podcasters have confessed similar things recently, so it doesn't feel so stigmatized right now.
Okay.
So I am undergoing depression, and I've been undergoing depression for a very long time, basically since as far back as I can remember. Um, and I'm currently in a very bad depressive episode, so this is it's a fun time for me. And I was thinking about starting a weekly depression blog or blog thing that would also go on this channel. Um, Mostly for me, but also so that other people that are suffering through similar things have
Can
some,
identify.
yeah, have someone to identify with, get something out of it, something. So I'm probably going to start doing that soon. So it's probably safe to
Announce it.
yeah, no longer keep that a secret. Because it's not something I tend to like publicly known. Although starting a depression blog is probably going to get it pretty public. Um,
It
but
may actually help
yeah,
with your perception of yourself
yeah,
since you are putting yourself out there.
yeah. But I think I'm okay with it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the last announcement I can think of. Do you think of anything?
No, as I said, I've started school. Um, I apparently obviously have problems saying no to anybody. So we have a senior who has some kind of learning disability where he can't do any group work, and
Okay.
it's been certified that he can't do this, so I've taken him on as an independent study. I've lost track of the number of internships that I'm supervising. Totally lost track, and it's only the second day of school.
Wow.
I stopped by Campus Ministries, and my thought is that we're going to start a dual campus business consulting team, and the dual campuses, Manhattan College and Bethlehem University. And I've been talking to a number of students over the summer. So I stopped by Campus Ministries, which also houses our community outreach program. And so I have to finish typing up a précis of exactly what we're going to be doing, and they're going to then kind of source a local community group that has a project that we can do on a semester basis and do a business analysis, give them a list of best business practices, and then our suggestions as to what we think would work in their particular situation. And so I think that the diversity of experiences within the team, since it's geographic differences as well as different majors, we're not limiting it to business majors, we're opening up to engineers and science and arts and all kinds of majors. I think it'll be relatively successful because for the past 30 years we've been doing this with business students for for-profit businesses. So we're getting this off the ground, and I think that'll be fun. I think it'll keep me busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing that. The other thing we're going to do is we have a Manhattan College entrepreneurship manual that we've started as a workbook. So if you do this, you do this, you do this. So I've given it to the president of the Entrepreneurship Club and the members or the residents on the Entrepreneurship Hall to go through and then to edit as to where they think it needs to be punched up. And then we're going to slice it so that we bring in a speaker to talk about a particular topic. And we might be able to go through the workbook in a year, or maybe it'll take 2 years, depending on how we slice it and how much time we actually have to bring in somebody. But the idea is that might be supportive for someone who's thinking about starting their business.
Yeah.
And give them maybe just that little extra support, that little extra push to go out and try it. I've met the RA for the floor is someone who started his own clothing line last year. And somehow I met another student who, in my office, was talking about how he wanted to start some kind of physical fitness clothing wear line, and he has a particular idea in his mind. And he works out, so I mean, he knows some of the needs of someone within that kind of community. And there was someone else who stopped by my office, and I've only been in my office now while school started 2 days. It's like Grand Central Station. And so I met someone else in my office who wanted to start another kind of business. And I've been sending them, not physically, but metaphorically and by email, I've been sending them to various people on campus who might help them with their ideas, or getting them in touch with various alumni who have been somewhat down that same path. So I've been making bridges.
I wish Columbia had something like that.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
They may.
Yeah. I'll have to look into it.
Look into it, yeah. Actually, I think Columbia may have a center like that. I would be shocked if they didn't. Check it out.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
Yeah. So I have all kinds of things that I've started at school, or people have helped me start. So it's going to be fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. So I've gotten the wheels started. Everything's kind of in motion. We're going to be. I have a marketing research class, and for the last couple of years, we've been looking at people's beverage consumption. Okay. We started out with alcoholic beverage consumption, and then as that topic got a little too controversial, then we just went to beverage consumption.
Mm.
So coffee, tea, water, flavored waters, sodas, um, iced teas, um, oh, orange, orange juices, all kinds of stuff. Um, but I'm getting a little tired of it.
Mm.
So I'm having them look at that survey and think about maybe changing it to gaming behavior.
Okay.
And video games, and now, like, what got me started thinking about was Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
So Pokemon has jumped from the Nintendo DS unit to a cell phone, which more people have.
It's nowhere near the same, but yeah.
No, but
I
it's
understand what you
more
mean.
available
Yeah.
to people, and I think that the mix of virtual reality with being able to see this Pokemon right on your car or in your plant.
Augmented reality.
Thank you. It's augmented reality. I think it's made it really interesting where you don't have to wear Oculus Rift glasses to see something.
That would be virtual reality.
Right. So it's that kind of intermediate point.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the day that they have augmented reality glasses.
Won't that be cool?
Yeah.
Very cool. So anyway, we're gonna, I think, be doing we're going to be editing the survey to look at gaming behavior, and I've left it up to them on how we edit this. So that'll be Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be editing this survey, and then I'll send them out over the weekend to go and collect data. I just feel like I'm scattering them to the wind. So it should be fun.
It's okay.
Yeah, get some. Started in learning how hard it can be hard to collect data.
Yeah.
So they start learning how it is to go talk to people and things like that. Yeah. So we're getting started.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's funny. People, when I first said I was going to get my PhD, and people said, "What are you going to do with that?" I said, "Well, I'm going to teach." And they said, "Well, you probably won't like it as much as you think." And I thought, well, considering I think the work hours are good, and the schedule's good, and I've already been a sales rep for a railroad. I mean, you couldn't have gotten more mundane than that. I think I'll be just fine. And I was so lucky that it turned out that I just love what I do.
Yeah.
So I'm incredibly fortunate.
Yeah.
Incredibly fortunate. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Then I guess we'll say goodbye.
Yes, so thank you for watching. I'm Aptenonits, or I'm Michael, but also my Rav and Instagram is Aptenonits, and
I'm CPREDMOR, which is a very old email appellation. Do we want to invite people to write in about topics that they'd be interested in us discussing?
Sure.
So please.
If you're interested in us discussing a topic, please either PM one of us or go to our RAV group, which is the Penguin Coffee Clutch / Aptenonits Designs, and post your topics there.
Thank you. That'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, we have a, right now, all we really have is a chatter thread, so you can just post them right there if you want. And
sounds reasonable.
If enough people post, then I'll open up a new topic or a new thread.
Called topics.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Anyway, in the U.S., Labor Day weekend is coming up hard upon us. So everybody, if you're going to be celebrating that 3-day weekend, have a very nice, happy, healthy, and safe one. For those who are near the Atlantic coast, be aware that they're predicting riptides, and we've already had some unfortunate occurrences of people going in the water after the lifeguards have left. And riptides can be very, very dangerous. I was at one point a really good swimmer, and even in my youth, down in the South Jersey, there was one day where the riptide was so bad, I wasn't in much over my knees, and suddenly I realized I could not get into shore. I wasn't going out, but I also wasn't getting in, and I was very fortunate that a couple gentlemen who were near me could see that I was in difficulty and helped pull me just maybe 6 feet further, and then I could get on shore. So be happy, healthy, and safe, and have a wonderful holiday weekend.
Yes, and as usual, watch out for any penguins or cats or I don't know.
Birds of any kind,
Yeah.
pets.
Yeah, I just got a new bird that goes on my hat, so
Cool.
watch out for birds too.
All right.
All right.
And we'll see you. Goodbye.
Yes, thank you. Goodbye.